Zimmerman, who has a very bright future. Thank you for running, Eva. And I want to say how proud I am to stand with the team behind me, compare our team with the other team. We have diversity, we have competence, we have smart, committed people who believe in our state, and I am so proud to stand here and be part of this team that I know will win. They are fantastic. Now, for those of you that know me, you know that I have a tendency to just get right to the point. So here it is. The point is that there are doubters, there are critics, there are skeptics, there are haters who say Democrats can't win for another 4 years. And I say absolutely not, because we are about job creation in the Democratic Party. Ned and I have put forward a platform to help small businesses, to invest in infrastructure and education. And we stand in solidarity for pay equity, which will uplift every family in the state when women and people of color make dollar for dollar what men make. So, to draw a contrast, what does the other side say? Well, Joe Markley, why were you the only one in the state Senate to vote against pay equity? What does that say? So, let's go to Mr. Stefanowski. Ned and I have worked really hard to bring business to Connecticut. Ned just brought Infosys. I've spent the past 6 years helping tens of small businesses across our state create thousands of good paying jobs. Mr. Stefanowski was a leader at GE. They left Connecticut. Why would we want him leading our state when he led the effort? Here's another example. He was a leader at UBS. They have decreased jobs in Connecticut 40% over the last 3 years. So let's just draw the contrast. Let's talk about who will bring jobs to our state, who will grow our economy. It is the team behind us. And I want to make one more point. There are those who ask, well, why did the Democrats talk about social issues? Well, ladies and gentlemen, women's reproductive health care is an economic issue. If women can't have control over their own bodies, then how do they provide for their families? And if we have candidates who are endorsed by Donald Trump and the Family Institute of Connecticut, who do not support women's rights and LGBT rights, then I ask you, how do we intend to have family-friendly policies in our state, to welcome LGBT people to our state, if we have opponents who are on the wrong side of social issues? Social issues are economic issues. It's all about jobs, and we are the jobs team for Connecticut. So thank you so much for your support. We need you to fight for us so we can bring jobs to Connecticut. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. It's such a great pleasure now to introduce the next governor of the state of Connecticut, Ned Lamont. Okay, so we are fired up. We are fired up. We have a lot to be fired up about. And Nick told me I was going to go after Susan, introduce Johanna. I'm used to be surrounded by really strong women. My wife, Annie Lamont, is right there. I know my place. I know my place in the universe. And I also know that I'm sort of the warm-up band for the Johanna Hayes show. So let me just get on. But we are united. And I talked to one of the Republican candidates for governor, and he said our primary was very different. It was a primary between the traditional Connecticut Republicans and the party of Trump, and the party of Trump won. And we're not going to have those questions in our mind. We are going to be fighting for Connecticut values. You know what that means? That means opportunity for all. As my friend Joe Gannon reminded me every day, an economy that works for everybody. An economy that works for everybody. It means we celebrate our diversity. We're a much stronger state for our diversity going forward. That's what it means, and it means good paying jobs. I've got to say, we have one of the great congressional delegations. I hear that wherever I go. Dick Blumenthal, Joe Courtney, always fighting every day. Two Jump So, Hans Sloan, Jim Himes. And I want to say a special shout out to somebody you never, ever should take for granted. Because as I've gotten in this political game a little more over the last 10 years, wherever I go, they tell me, Connecticut, you are so lucky to have a champion for your state, a champion for Connecticut values, a champion for your state wherever we go, fighting for the state every day. A guy who's not only a leader in our state, but a leader in our party, someday a leader in our nation. That's Chris Murphy. Just a little shout out for a friend, the Carpenters here. You've been here for a long time. We're fighting for labor. We're fighting for the guys who do the work in this. There you go. But I want to leave you one other thought. You know, we are going to be fighting not for Trump values. We're going to be fighting for Connecticut values. As William said, we are going to be that firewall. But make sure you also know that this is a team that's going to represent real fundamental change going forward. It's not all about the last 8 years, the last 20 years. It's where we're going as a state. And Sean, it will be no question about it. It will be Governor Ned Lamont, and he will be his own man. Look, I'd be the first governor, in generations who started a business, created jobs here in a state that's got to put our foot on the accelerator, work closely with labor, work closely with small business, work closely to make sure we educate the people for the next generation of jobs. And I got to tell you something. I look at that Republican tax plan. I look at Stefanowski's tax plan. It is nuts. It is a fantasy. It is silly, to quote the Republican leader. And let me tell you what that means. Luke Broden knows what that means. Mayor Ganem knows what it would mean to eliminate the income tax for the highest paid people in our state right now. They know what that would mean in terms of jacking up property taxes, making it so tough in Hartford, in Bridgeport, all of our towns and cities going forward, and they'd be gutting education. How can you gut education in this state? Our calling card has always been the best educated, most productive workforce in the world, and that's how we're going to get jobs back in this state again. So I think we found out the hard way a year and a half ago that elections matter. Elections matter a lot. And here in Connecticut, this election is going to matter significantly for each and every one of you, our families, our values, getting this state moving again, making the tough choices, an honestly balanced budget that doesn't borrow from the future, but invests in transportation, invests in education, invests in our future, and that's why I'm running for governor. We need each and every one of you standing up, fighting every day, and I'll be fighting for you. Thanks, everybody.